Sora and Shiro are two siblings who are known in online games as the Blank, an undefeated group. In real life, they are hikikomori who are shunned by society. Tet challenges them to a game of chess one day, and they triumph. In response, he offers to transport them to a world centered on games, which they accept. Believing it to be a joke, they are then transported to Disboard, a reality where a spell known as the 10 Pledges prevents violence and enforces game rules and outcomes. They travel to Elkia, a human-populated nation, where Sora competes in poker against a woman for her money and wins by out-cheating her. He and Shiro take a break at an inn and decide their next goal is to find a place to live. Stephanie Dola, Elkia's deceased king's granddaughter, loses to Kuramizel in a contest to determine the next ruler. She then confronts Sora for not revealing how her opponent was cheating. Sora dupes her into a game of rock, paper, scissors, then uses the pledges to make her fall in love with him. Sora and Shiro then move into Stephanie's palace, where they learn more about the world and decide to assist Stephanie in revitalizing Elkia. Sora reveals during Kurami's coronation that she was using magic from the elf, Phil Nilvalen, to win her games. Kurami saves the day, but is forced to play a game with Sora and Shiro. Initially, they think it's chess, but Sora deduces it's a war simulator with chess-themed pieces. Sora's charisma rallies his army, giving them an advantage and forcing Kurami to cheat by corrupting Sora's soldiers. In exchange, Sora convinces Kurami's queen to join his army by declaring her king corrupt. Kurami's army begins to defect to her former queen. Eventually, her king is assassinated as a result of her tyrannical rule, and Sora triumphs. Sora opposes Kurami's plan to merge humans and elves, claiming that humanity is stronger than she realizes. Sora and Shiro are crowned king and queen of humanity and set about resolving Elkia's political and economic issues. They later attend the formal coronation and are presented with humanity's race piece, a chess piece representing humanity's rights and free will. Tet pays a visit to Sora and Shiro, explaining that whoever collects all 16 chess pieces, one for each species, will earn the right to challenge him for the title of God. In response, Sora and Shiro accept his challenge, declaring themselves the winners. Sora and Shiro delegate Elkia's political duties to Stephanie until she is challenged to a game by nobles opposed to the reform. She challenges Sora to a game of blackjack in the hopes of tying him to the pledges and forcing him to perform his duties. She tries to use false shuffling, but loses due to card counting. Sora trumps the nobles and uses the previous game to make Stephanie act like a dog. Realizing her predicament, Stephanie tries several more games on Sora in order to get him to accept responsibility as Elkia's king, but she fails. Sora and Shiro reveal that they haven't been slacking, but are instead researching ways to conquer the other nations. In response, Stephanie directs them to Elkia's library, which is owned by the Flugel Gibril. Sora and Shiro challenge Gibril by wagering their tablet computer full of books. Gibril offers her freedom in exchange. They begin a materialization Shiratori game in which the words they use materialize or disappear from the environment. Sora and Shiro deduce from the game that Disboard scientific research is lacking and use this knowledge to their advantage. They succeed after removing Coulomb's law and inducing a hypernova, removing Gibril from the game. Gibril, impressed by the two, solemnly swears her allegiance to them. Gibril reveals her knowledge of the werebeasts, revealing that they have been undefeated for decades and always take the opponent's memories of the game with them. When Sora learns that Elkia's king challenged the werebeasts 8 times and lost a large amount of land, he denounces the king, causing Stephanie to be upset. Sora questions the king's motives after further investigation and eventually learns about the king's will from Stephanie. Using the key from the will, Sora and Shiro discover a hidden library in the king's chambers where they learn about the werebeasts and their favorite games. Sora and Shiro enter the embassy of the Eastern Federation, a werebeast nation, to issue a formal challenge. Sora and Shiro reveal that the werebeasts werbeasts play video games and threaten to reveal this information to the elves if their challenge is not accepted, Sora bets humanity's chess piece in exchange for all of the continent's land. Sora waits for the missing piece needed for victory as the Eastern Federation prepares for the game. The next day, Shiro realizes everyone has forgotten about Sora. Jibril arranges a chess game to remove Shiro's memories of Sora, believing they have been tampered with. Shiro decides her memories are real and wins the match. Shiro recalls Sora arranging a game of reversi with Kurami. The game's pieces consist of the components that make up Sora and Kurami's identities. Sora was nearly erased from existence after losing most of his pieces, but the last 3 pieces allow Shiro to keep her memories of him. Shiro discovers the pieces in her room and arranges them on an invisible board to win the game and restore Sora. Sora gains the ability to manipulate Phil's memories as a result of his victory, and he shares his memories with Kurami, allowing them to form an alliance. Sora and his friends form a bond with Kurami and Phil as they prepare to conquer the Eastern Federation. The match against the werbeasts is made public per Sora's request in order to prevent them from cheating. As the game begins, Sora, Shiro, Stephanie, Jibril, and their opponent Izuna Hatsus are transported to a virtual reality world resembling Tokyo. Sora and Shiro's agoraphobia flares up, and they fall into a void state. Sora and Shiro return to normal after remembering they are in virtual reality. The game is a version of cops and robbers in which they use guns that fire heart-shaped bullets. While Stephanie remains oblivious to the game, Sora, Shiro, and Jibril battle Izuna and deduce that her grandfather, Ino Hatsus, is relaying their location and mental state to her. Shiro makes the necessary changes to Sora and his friends' plans. Sora and Shiro corner Izuna, forcing her to use an ability called Blood Destruction to augment her abilities as part of the unspoken plan. Sora and Shiro are defeated, and Izuna is shot by Stephanie riding an NPC as she drops her guard. Sora reveals that he bound Stephanie to the pledges in order to conceal her intent, while Shiro calculated the NPC's movements, allowing Stephanie to conceal her location. While Izuna laments the fate of the werbeasts, Sora assures her of his goodwill. Sora applies political pressure on the leader of the Eastern Federation, the nameless Miko, to challenge him to a game. Sora flips a coin and has it land on its edge. He persuades the Miko to declare victory, allowing Elkia to share resources with the Eastern Federation. While the werbeasts maintain their independence, the allied nation is known as the Elkia Federation. Following that, Sora and his friends have the Miko channel an old god for a game.